This is kind of another angle that offers a bit more insight and into the mythology, into the characters themselves and their interplay, and a bit more maturity in terms of presenting the world with greater threat and consequence, but also like the adrenaline and the immersion and everything that we can do in live action that dials it up.
So, my name's Timmy. I'm from the Nerd Council. I'm doing this interview in collaboration with Nay Saga. First and foremost, thank you for spending the time to talk to me this morning. And massive congrats on bringing the world of Berk to live action.
Thank you.
The film was a lot more than I expected. It's a lot more gritty than I expected. It's really good.
Thank you.
My first question to you is, you once said that the original films were about growing up with your audience and how the original trilogy were a coming-of-age story. How did that affect your direction going into the live-action film?
Well, I think when Universal approached me about dipping back into this story with a live-action reimagining, I wanted to bring all of that, I guess, that sense of wonder and coming of age back into this. Like, I volunteered to be. I don't even like the trend of live-action remakes, but I don't want to see somebody else's version of this because it's important to me to keep the heart and keep the soul and the sense of these characters in this world alive.
Yeah.
So that was primarily, I wanted to carry that forward, make sure that this was such an important part of a lot of people's upbringing, and I keep getting told this is part of my childhood, so I understand their defensive-ness, and I wanted to make sure that we present something that is not trying to replace those animated movies, but offers like another spin on it that is hopefully equally rich with wonder and emotion.
Well, I mean, what would you say to fans of the franchise who hold the films and the shows and the games close to their heart? What would you say if they have any apprehension towards watching this live-action film?
Yeah, I would say I am so proud of those animated movies. I wrote and directed those, and so it's a big part of my life as well. And certainly, again, not trying to replace them, but this is kind of another angle that offers a bit more insight and into the mythology, into the characters themselves and their interplay, and a bit more maturity in terms of presenting the world with greater threat and consequence, but also like the adrenaline and the immersion and everything that we can do in live action that dials it up.
Yeah, because even when you mentioned maturity, I'm remembering a scene in the final battle where a couple of the people from Berk died in that final battle. What was the rationale or decision behind having that kind of moment in a film where in the original animated version there wasn't any kind of like death or fight or stakes involved, as it were?
Yeah. Well, in the original version, because I worked at DreamWorks Animation, we were always being reminded, don't forget the 4-year-olds in the audience. Don't make anything too traumatizing. But I think here, by doing the live-action version, which is intentionally aimed at a broader spectrum of an audience, you can sort of engage in more of the consequence, and it actually amps up the heroism when you understand this is a place where people really do get hurt.
Yeah.
You can lose limbs. You might lose your life, And so there's an intensity to the heroic sacrifice that's being made.
Were there any particular scenes or visual moments in the film that felt especially personal to you?
Yes, one in particular, when Hiccup is about to march out, he's supposed to be killing a monstrous nightmare in front of the whole village. Yeah. And his father's up there giving a speech to everyone, like, who would have thought my son, Hiccup, well, being Hiccup, and everyone's laughing. And we put a camera on Mason Thames standing there in the tunnel listening to everyone sort of ridiculing and mocking him. And just the sting on his face and how that really hit. It's like, I found myself tearing up as we were shooting it because I knew what it was like to be that kid, being the outsider, being made fun of, and still the wonderful thing about Hiccup, and I think that's why he resonates with so many people, is that he can still withstand that ridicule and still march out there and kind of follow his heart and not bend himself to be what everyone wants him to be.
Yeah, that scene was. It was a lot for me, I must admit. I think a lot of people can resonate with wanting to live up to family expectations and the expectations of their parents and sometimes their fathers. On that kind of note, what was it like working with Gerard Butler again as Stoic for this film?
It's so great. I'm so glad it worked out because at first he wasn't available.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he had back-to-back projects, and it was actually the actors' strike of 2023 that jostled things around, and he suddenly was able to come on and join us, and he helped create the character. I mean, he knows so many textural insights into this guy and his arc through the story, and how he has the humility to change his own perception of what strength and leadership is.
Yeah.
So having Stoic, pave the path for Mason through this story is wonderful, and it's so much richer in this live action version.
100%.